Those clowns at Kraft Foods are at it again.
What's going on?
A grilled cheese isn't a grilled cheese without 2 slices of melty goodness,
Hmm.
aka cheese. Why do they keep I'm not saying it's not a challenge to come up with things that you can claim require American singles that don't have cheese in the name, but maybe that's a sign that this is the wrong marketing campaign in general. Like,
Hmm.
you can't have cheese without cheese. Uh,
What do you mean? Craft singles do it all the time.
bah! um, However, I do have other funny thing. Literally just talking with Trish over text because she's in the back. Um, due to an autocorrect thing, we've come up with the coolest new restaurant idea.
Okay.
Occam's Tacos, where the simplest taco is usually the best.
Mm. Hmm.
We don't got any fancy tacos here.
No fancy tacos at Occam's
No,
Tacos.
Occam's Tacos. And it's fun to say.
It is fun to say. It That's a huge benefit. People don't. I mean, people often underestimate how a fun to say name is a big marketing tool.
The mouth feel of a business's
Yeah.
name
No,
is very
sure.
critical.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Uh, so don't anybody steal the idea, please. TM 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 TM.
So how does it work exactly? Is there a hard limit on how many toppings you can get on an Occam's taco?
Um, Probably. I don't even think it's customizable. I think there's just
Oh,
a collection of very like 1, 2, maybe 3 ingredient tacos,
huh.
but we do them really well.
I mean, that could work.
Yeah. Because as we all know, Americans love tacos.
Yeah, we do know that. It's a pretty well-established fact.
Trevor Noah has a bit in his because he didn't know what tacos were before he came to this country.
Oh,
Um, but he has since learned that Americans fucking love tacos,
they
which is
do.
true. And it's really funny because like even really racist Americans love tacos. Like everybody loves tacos. Like
Oh.
people who would don't want ethnic food or whatever. Tacos still great. Tacos. I think Americans might love tacos more than Mexicans love tacos at this point. We're really a taco nation, and yet we very seldom give any credit to the nation that introduced us to tacos. Latvia. No, sorry, Mexico.
I mean, yeah, hamburgers, hot dogs, pizza, tacos.
Tacos.
And then in Iowa, taco pizza.
Not just in Iowa, but yeah,
I know,
in
but
Iowa. The cult is in Iowa.
it started here, Taco John's, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, crazy Iowans.
Um, hello everyone. Welcome to the Magical Talking Hat Podcast, the only podcast in the world that just finally figured out what the name for what we're doing. We are narrowcasting in that we say things that only a small number of people would give a shit about. And in our case, it's extremely small, like maybe 10. No, that's what you say it when you're doing a podcast and you start talking too much of like a very specific topic that only a few listeners are going to give a shit about. That's
Oh,
that's our whole deal.
yeah. It's always that.
We're the first ones to make a whole product out of this concept. And usually it's thought of as a bad thing, but in our case,
Yeah,
it is a thing.
right. Yep, it's a
Yeah.
thing.
Anyway, I'm Tony.
And I'm William, and this is episode 756.
All right. Welcome everyone to another exciting episode at this same Bat channel. For those of you just joining us, doesn't happen. We have a hat. It is magical in that it has its own email address, themagicaltalkinghat@gmail.com. And people like to write into that email address, themagicaltalkinghat@gmail.com, with whatever the crap they want. Notes, comments, questions, topics, manifestos, menus, laundries. I don't know. I don't know why I said laundries. I meant to say laundry lists, and then it just they write in with laundries. The hat magically, all on its own, forwards us the emails, and we read them, talk about them. That's it. Except we don't get a lot of them, so most of the time we just do other shit. So, how was your week? Which
good,
included Labor Day weekend.
Oh yeah, Labor Day weekend. Well, we didn't do a lot for Labor Day weekend, actually. We didn't go anywhere. The kids were camping somewhere or whatever, so it was just us mostly, which is okay because it's nice to get some downtime, I guess. The weather has been pretty good.
It's getting cold. It's gonna go up again a little, but right now, yeah, it's I like this kind of weather.
We watched the second half of Wednesday. We liked it
Wednesday
quite a bit. I mean, we've seen a couple things, nothing really to talk that much about. It's been a pretty easygoing week, which is good because we both kind of needed that. How was your week?
We actually started Wednesday, not on Wednesday. We are now 3 episodes into that. It seems to have a slightly wackier feel than first season in a way that I would prefer not. But it's still Wednesday. It's still good. I miss Gwendolyn Christie, but I love Steve Buscemi, so that works out. I am weirdly on Team Pugsley, and I don't understand why, but I really am enjoying him. And for all that I don't think he's a good choice for Gomez Adams, we got a lot more Luis Guzman in this, and I'm enjoying that. So
yeah,
that's fun. I like that stuff.
Yeah, so after the success of the first season, the Morticia and Gomez have gone from being cameos to like they're
heavily involved.
Yeah, they're in it, which I like it. I think
I love Luis Guzman. Again, I think he's a terrible choice for Gomez Adams, but the character he's playing is fun.
Well, and I think I like Catherine Zeta-Jones's Morticia quite a bit, so I do.
Yeah, yeah. I think tonight we're gonna watch the Addams Family movie, because I said I hadn't seen it, and Trish is like, "Well, then you have to see it." Since then, we think we've already had this conversation, and years ago she had me watch it, but we're still gonna watch it. That'd be fun. And I always love an excuse to watch Raul Julia again.
They're pretty good, and they're more based on the comic strips than probably anything else. Like the TV show really diverged from it, and a lot of the animated stuff does too. But the movies, like whoever made the movies was a real fan of the original comic. You can tell. In fact, some of the scenes in the film, if you've seen enough Addams Family strips, you see how many shots are like taken right out of the strip. It's pretty cool. But yeah. And then, of course, Christina Ricci, created a character in Wednesday that is what is being channeled in the show now.
Yeah.
Because that was the first time Wednesday was presented in that particular way.
Yeah. And then the other thing we're doing is Sandman, which we're just about halfway through. It's fine. I feel like I did watching the Dune Part 1, where I'm just like, this is good, and also probably the last thing I need to ever do with this property, I think. I think I've squeezed everything I can out of the Sandman IP. And this is not a bad way to go. It's not always like the books. It's frequently not like the books. Sometimes that makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't. Whatever. It's fine. It's pretty. I enjoy it. I recommend it to people. We went home for Labor Day weekend.
Right. How'd that go?
It's fine. Nothing particularly to write home about there. It was a good time. The nephew is now at Iowa State University, and in fact, Trish went and got him, and we took him home. We didn't bring him back, but we took him home because his parents were busy sending their eldest, my niece, to London for a semester. And she is now in London, and we in fact FaceTimed with her a couple days during the weekend. So everybody's very busy in that sense, but
wow,
it all seems to be going well for them, and so I'm happy for them. Yeah. Should we look at Uncle Tony's big list of movies that he's been watching?
Yeah. When I think about your nieces and nephews, and like when we started podcasting, how little they were, it's kind of funny. I mean, it's been almost 15 years, so it's
some of them weren't born.
Yeah.
And so the youngest one has started junior high this year.
Yeah. It's crazy.
The youngest started junior high, started high school, sophomore in high school, senior in high school, just started college, junior in college, and then all the ones on my side graduated. They're free. They're grown-ups. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Oh.
All right. List of movies is down to 6, so that's good.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, we talked about a few last time, and I haven't watched a ton of movies this week. I only got really one new one to put on. Let's talk about it first, though. We watched The Thursday Murder Club. We are very Netflix heavy at the moment, between our 2 shows being on Netflix, and then we watched this on Netflix. Don't know if you're familiar.
I've seen promos of it.
Yes, it is based off of a book, I think a book series, but the first book of a series written by Richard Osman, who is a TV producer and host and things on various British television shows. And I know him and I like him very much. And his novels have been very successful. And this is an adaptation of one of his novels. And most importantly, it stars Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, Ben Kingsley, Tom Ellis, Jonathan Pryce, David Tennant, just lots of people. And it's about some old folks who their fun activity every Thursday is they try and solve cold case murders. But then a real murder happens and like hijinks ensue. It's fine. Trish liked it a little less because it is hard to pin down. It's a little darker than a cozy mystery, but too cozy to be a police procedural. So it's a weird sort of in between in a way. Nothing breathtaking in terms of mystery or whatever like that. I liked it quite a bit purely on the strength of the performances.
Sure.
Marvelous performances all around. Pierce Brosnan is doing some sort of broadly northern accent, I think, that I finally decided was just him doing an impression of every James Bond except his, all mixed together, because it fluctuates a little bit. It's odd, but no, is a fun time. I would recommend it. It's on Netflix. What the crap? Check it out. All right, I think the time has come for this. No, wait, we'll do that last. Legend of Ochi.
Oh yeah, I've seen that promoted too. How was that?
Weird. Weird.
I mean, good weird, bad weird.
Probably one of those.
Okay.
It is. I don't even know how to start with this. It's just strange. So, in a small Eastern European village, out in the woods are Ochi, which are these monsters that look shockingly like orangutans.
Okay.
The babies look a little bit more like Mogwai from Gremlins, but the big ones just look like orangutans to me. And we stay with this teenage girl uh whose father is Willem Dafoe and sucks, and whose mom apparently left years ago. And Willem Dafoe, who sucks, teaches all the young people how to hunt Ochi, but he's like they're not good at it. And then our teenage girl finds a baby Ochi and becomes like friends with it. And then but everybody wants to kill it. And Finn Wolfhard is in this movie for no reason. Like he plays her like
I,
adoptive brother,
I
but
feel
he
like that
has such
sentence.
a tiny part.
I feel like that sentence has been said many times.
They really are just shoving Finn Wolfhard into things. I
Yeah.
don't. But this one, like, I'm like, anyone could have done this part. He had like 5 lines. Like, he is arguably one of the main characters, but it's like a huge drop off. It's like her, Willem Dafoe, another one, and then Finn Wolfhard, and then everybody else who I don't even remember their names.
He must
So
have an amazing agent or something. Seriously.
I mean, he's just the new hotness right now. Sorry, my blood sugar thing was freaking out. I needed to see why it keeps yelling at me. All right. And it doesn't walk the line between like scary and kids movie. It sort of just spends time on both. I mean, it's not really scary. I think it's PG, but it's kind of I mean, it involves a lot of like killing people and ruined families and I don't I and then it brings it's definitely fantasy. It brings in some weird shit kind of out of nowhere. And I don't know. I don't think I liked it that much.
Okay.
It's just it's weird. I don't know what they were I mean I don't I mean it comes in a long it's an ET, you know, it's a Gremlins. It's a, you know, oh, us and the monsters aren't so different, blah blah blah. But you know, it's one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess new generations need some of the but this one's very strange and and Eastern European for some reason, and Willem Dafoe for it's I don't know, I don't understand. It's weird, and Finn Wolfhard. So yeah, let's not discuss that anymore. But now let us discuss chicken people.
Chicken people?
Chicken people.
Are these people who like chickens? Or who like to eat chicken? Or what's a chicken person?
Uh-huh. Good question. Um
Cowardly people?
no. This is a documentary
Oh, well, I wouldn't have
about
guessed that.
people who turn into chickens at the full moon. No. No, you're going to love this. This is about people who raise and show chickens.
Mm.
Which initially I'm like, what? That's a thing? But then I'm like, oh shit. That's what the poultry building at the state fair is about.
Sort of, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I used to spend all of my time. I love the poultry building because I love seeing all the chickens and everything. Them's being judged.
Sure they are, yeah.
Yeah. And there's like a whole culture of it. And like it, Trish picked this out and she's like, what I'm hoping it's going to be is like the Christopher Guest movie Best in Show, but with chickens and real.
Oh.
And it basically was.
Oh, nice.
Which, it sounds appealing, except it's real. So, like, I'm uncomfortable with the way these people are. Like, I feel like an asshole for watching a documentary about them. Like, it's I wish no ill will against these people, and they seem to be doing, but like, yeah, these are people who huge chunks of what we would consider life and relationships and hobbies and purpose have all been funneled into showing chickens. Like, they're just like real into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
To the degree that you just want to be like, are you okay? And like, to the degree that one of them sings in a music review in Branson, Missouri, and lives in an apartment in Branson, Missouri, but he's so obsessed with his chickens that he still has chickens, but he has them out in his retired parents' farm, and they take care of them almost all the time, even though they don't give a shit about show chickens. And he's even aware of this, and yet he still sort of lets it happen. One guy is giving very neurodivergent vibes and seems to like chickens more than people very much. And then we find out he had a long-term girlfriend for a while, but they broke up, but she's also into show chickens and they're friends, so we see them later. The guide by which show chickens are determined is called, literally the book is called The Standard of Perfection. And it describes for each breed what a perfect specimen of that chicken would look like. And people get into debates about how much what is described shows up on the chickens, and there's so many chickens. One of the people, there's like three main sort of focused people, but we get lots of bits, just interview bits from other show chicken people, and they're all variable in terms of, some of them don't eat any chicken, some of them eat chicken as long as it's not their show chicken, some of them eat their show chickens when they're done with them. It's all over the place. Some of them genuinely think of them as like their kids. It's just it um, if you watched Best in Show, which is a very funny movie, but like you were like, this is an actual documentary, you'd feel a little weird watching, because you're laughing at these people. Like, nobody watches Best in Show and is like, oh, this is an intriguing storyline. No, it's funny because these people are wacky and larger than life. But it turns out they're not larger than life. They're exactly the same size as life in the world of chickens.
Well, probably in the world of dogs too.
Probably in the world of dogs too.
You could. I'm pretty sure you could make the exact same documentary with the exact same mood and feel and discomfort with sheep people, with some. It's a little bit less with like people who raise pigs or cattle or even horses. Horse people, yeah, you probably could with horse people. Sheep people, definitely, absolutely, sheep people. And probably everyone who raises like alpacas or emus or whatever else, probably the same, probably exactly the same.
Well, and this is the issue here, the hypocrisy in it. There's a certain like complexity of animal at which point it seems less weird. So like, okay, I'm bonded with this horse. This horse is like a member of my family. I dedicate so much time to caring for this horse so that we can go show this horse. I mean, it's not my thing, but I get it.
That seems less weird than chickens. And
So much.
Dogs also seems less weird than chickens.
More weird than horses, but yes. Anything that would reasonably be considered a pet, I'm like, I mean, my cats are like my chickens. I just don't give a shit if them matching my cat like my chicken. Yeah, I'll stick with it. My cats are like my chickens.
Is that the title of the episode now? My cats are my chickens.
No, I think it's Occam's Tacos. I don't know.
Yeah,
Occam's
Tacos. Sure,
it's a tough call.
Of course.
I'll have to think about this in 6 days when I've forgotten everything about this. No, like I love my cats and I think of them as members of the family and I dote on them tremendously. I don't try and adhere to a standard of perfection. I have extremely imperfect cats. But like anything, I devote that amount of emotional energy. So I kind of get that, but it is weird. Horses, I get more like dogs, or I mean,
it's really more.
But like I also feel weird about. And let me be clear about this. I am not saying that any of these show chicken people should stop doing what they love. Good on you. I'm saying there's a bit of a freak show quality with which we watch a documentary like this. Most of us are not watching it because we want to know the details of show chickening or showing chicken.
Yeah.
We're doing it because we're like, what kind of freaks do this?
Well, and it's the show part of it, really, right? Like when I was saying you could make the same thing with with sheep people and so on and so forth, I do mean the people who are involved in competitions and showing and things like that. I mean, I know people who have sheep who don't, I mean, they might take them to the fair, to show them in the ring or whatever, but it's not like they're not getting into the aesthetic competitions. It's just they're showing to people who are going to buy that sheep and slaughter it or whatever. But
because breeding chickens is a much simpler concept than a lot of these, the eugenics here is off the charts.
No. Yeah. But for people who keep animals to compete in like aesthetic type competitions, they're different than the ones who are raising them, mostly as livestock, right?
Eggs and
even though they can get attached to them, they very much can, and name them and feel sad when they take them to market and everything else. The people who are who appreciate the aesthetic of, say, a perfect lamb or a perfect, bull or whatever, that's a very different thing. That's a very different thing. And if like you're observing with the people who are sort of into chickens in this way, it can be very difficult for people who don't appreciate, their perspective on things, to understand, and beyond that, not struggling to understand it's amusing, right? It's like you laugh at some of the things,
but I feel weird about it, like
well,
like especially because some of these people, like, I do feel bad for. I feel like I mean, some of them seem to have gotten into this chicken thing sort of as an escape from the other traumas of their life, or because they don't fit in with other people. And I mean, I guess I'm glad they found that, but I mean, it's all incredibly presumptuous on my part. It's all very judgmental on my part, and it's not something I want to be doing here, but I can't not, and I feel bad about it. But it is fascinating. I recommend chicken people, just be prepared. You might be upset with yourself after you watch it. I don't know. I found it quite interesting.
Well, I mean, this expresses a more general thing, right? Like, people will also watch documentaries about people who are fans of Star Trek, for example, and laugh at whatever they're doing. And so it does raise questions like,
there's a documentary film called The Dungeon Masters that is a similar thing. And
sure. And so it raises questions. What's this really about? Like, part of it, I think, is that there are some real life things you can watch, and your brain, this happens for me anyway, maybe it happens for other people. It's like, this can't be real, right? I mean, this sounds like a thing someone would make up to make people laugh, right? It seems like a sketch someone would write just to make people laugh. But no, it's really happening. And
Yep.
somehow that makes it even more funny. Or maybe less if you like, oh my gosh, this is real. Now I feel bad. It's kind of
also they called the documentary Chicken People.
Chicken People, right? It's kind of like an uncanny valley of some kind that I can't quite articulate. But it's definitely you feel weird about it. It's like this, and why? Like what is, first of all, what is funny? Okay, let's say it was a sketch. Let's say it was a comedy thing. What makes it funny? As comedy.
Well, based on the documentary, the obsession with specific things about like how the comb falls and stuff like that, and the fact that they breed so many fucking chickens, that like we only follow the ones that are good in shows. They breed tons of other ones to try and get the right one. And I don't know what happens to those chickens. We do not discuss what happens to those chickens, but there are a lot of them. Also, the fact that one of the really hardcore ones is an extremely camp musician who works in Branson, Missouri. That's just funny. It's like that occupation is funny already, and to know that, but his real passion is show chickens. That's funny.
Okay, why? What?
Because Branson, Missouri is where musicians go to die. And some comedians. I believe Yakov Smirnoff has a residency in Branson, Missouri. Branson, Missouri is a joke to a large percentage of the population, myself included. Branson, Missouri is Las Vegas if it was run by Ned Flanders. And
okay.
And the fact that there's this essentially chorus boy who sings numbers to old white people every night in Branson, Missouri. But again, his real passion is show, like that's too many eccentric things on one person.
Okay, eccentricity is what we're talking about, right? That,
I mean, or dumb and hilarious because it's dumb. There's an extremely judgmental component to this.
Okay.
I don't want to, but I absolutely look down on all these people and think they're ridiculous. I know it's not true, but it feels that way. When you watch Best in Show, you laugh at Best in Show.
Yes, I do. I thought it was hilarious.
These people are like those people.
No. With chickens. I get it. But I mean, I guess I don't sense in myself when I think it's funny that I don't think they're stupid or dumb or whatever. They're just,
no, because you know it's fake.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of people it's not fake, and I'm still amused. Okay.
You also have perfect separation of your emotions from your rational thinking, and you don't judge anyone for anyone. So for anything, I don't know.
I still think it's funny though. I still think something's funny. Like, but if I knew these people and they were doing something, and I laughed, and it hurt their feelings, I would try very hard to explain to them that no, I'm not laughing at you at all. I think this is just there's just something very delightfully different and unusual and kind of fascinating about this. But I think the word that when you said eccentric, I think that's probably what it is more for me, is it's so surprising, which a lot of humor, that's what it is. It's surprising. It's like, oh, that I didn't see that coming. And I guess a person could look down on them, I suppose. But is that funny? Is when someone seems dumb or stupid? Well, I suppose so. Like in cartoons, right? That's a lot of the time the thing that's funny is a character's like really dumb. I don't know.
Also, the whole point here is that I'm conflicted about it.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a whole other thing. I apologize. But you're conflicted about it because you feel judgmental toward these people.
Yeah, because I think these people are hilarious. And I feel bad about that because I just think they're hilarious because of who they are. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, show chicken breeders, what? And you're making your parents do it while you hang out singing tunes in Branson, Missouri, and the other and just the one guy, all of his chickens have 4-digit codes as their names. And he's got hundreds and hundreds, and he just has them memorized. And you name a number, and he can tell you who their parents and grandparents were. And
wow,
he's way into it. And then they get real mad if the judges interpret the, again, standard of perfection differently than they interpret the standard of perfection. And yeah, just, and there's one lady who like has a bunch of kids, and her chickens, you're like, the chickens and the kids are pretty much on equal level for you, aren't they? And the kids even seem to know that. But at the same time, you find out she like was a serious alcoholic, and doing show chickens kind of saved her and got her sober. And so I'm like, I'm in favor of that. But why was it that? Why were show chickens the thing that helped you overcome your debilitating addiction? I'm in favor of it, but it also seems silly to me, you know? That's the thing. Anyway, Chicken People. Check it out. If you're interested. It was interesting. It was entertaining. It was amusing in a way that I don't necessarily feel good about myself for. But
well, so
you're all not as judgmental as me.
Do you think if you didn't think less of these people, that you would still have been entertained?
I imagine.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I found it interesting.
Okay.
I'm definitely glad I saw it. It just is just in a weird place emotionally. My reactions to it are varied, and some of them I don't like or don't understand. But no, it's very interesting. Although in the little interstitial interviews, there are at least 2, maybe 3 different sets of identical twins who both show chickens. That's fucked up. And no follow-up questions. I can't explain it to you. But it's fucked up. Twin show chicken breeders. So identical twin.
There's a genetic component, you think?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure I've seen a 1970s horror movie with this premise. Is so weird. All right. But enough about me being shameful to chicken people. Let's do an email.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Where to go? Here it is. Hat Chieftains. Azure Talon. You can almost guess, yeah. Hat Chieftains. Chieftain, I like that.
That implies authority we have over the hat, which I don't think is accurate.
Oh.
The hat is the chieftain.
That's true. I have a new weapon, the mighty airbrush. I have begun to paint miniatures again. Like any creative project, sometimes I struggle to know when I'm quote unquote done. Base costs, shadows, black wash, more shadows, highlights, dry brush, more highlights, weather powder, even more highlights, weather powder actually weathering, add to details. How does a creative identify they are done? Azure Paint Talon. Azure Paint Talon.
Congrats on the airbrush. Airbrushes are another one of those things like power washers that I'm like, I just want to play with them. It just seems very satisfying. But instead I play Power Wash Simulator on the TV, which is a fun game. This is an interesting question, and it puts me in mind of Bob Ross. In Trish's family, we have a phrase called having a Bob Ross moment. And what this is, we all know Bob Ross,
I know,
the
yeah.
the PBS painter guy, Happy Little Trees.
Yeah.
That guy. He frequently will make something really gorgeous, and then he will just add a little something that Trish's family was under the impression ruined the painting. Like, oh, you put too much stuff in it. You went too far. And this is a thing that can happen with a lot of art. I'm disclaimer, I have no feelings about whether or not Bob Ross did this. That's just the term that the family has coined. But this is something that a lot of us struggle with in artistic endeavors. Like, when is enough? I'm guessing you've struggled with this.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So what's your answer?
So a lot of the art that I've done has to eventually like get out there. I mean, like out there. So so like
I love how you said that a second time the exact same words as though that explained more.
Well, what let me try to
Not
explain
out
it
here, out there.
And the reason I said that is because every piece of art is eventually out there in some way, right? I mean, it's.
I mean, depending on your definition of both out and there.
Yeah, I suppose. But like some people who paint, right? They'll put it up just in their room, or maybe they'll never show it to anybody, I suppose. I mean, a lot of people who write never show it to anybody. But just about every project I've ever worked on, the intention is for it to, like when I wrote songs when I was in high school, we had every intention to perform them at venues, to do whatever we could to get it on a CD that you could sell in a store or play it on the radio, which we succeeded in getting things played on the radio and stuff, even when I was in early days.
I mean, ham radio, but still.
So there was always when the art you're working on is like that, I feel this is the way I think of it, and you know, people can disagree obviously, but there feels like there's almost a self-imposed deadline, even if there's not, like no publisher or anything is giving you a deadline, but you feel like you have a kind of deadline, and sometimes you do. Sometimes you actually put a date on it, and that's the thing that says it's done. Basically, is well, I can't just hold on to this forever. I've worked on it. I've crafted it. I could probably craft it some more. I mean, you can always craft it some more, but there has to come a time where I'm doing this so that it can get out there for people, and I have to have an almost arbitrary point of just letting it go, because otherwise I won't let it go at all, ever. And you know, to articulate, for many years I've tried to articulate when that is, because I've tried to systematize it, right? Like, oh, this is when I'll stop. Like, I'll have this is when I'll stop any project, is when this happens. But I've never found any standard thing. It's like every project's different, where it gets to the point where it's like, I know I could do more with this, but it feels like I'm hanging on to it too long. It feels like it's got to get out there. It feels like if I don't let it go now, I'll just keep working on it, whatever. And every project's different when that point hits, but the counterbalance isn't me and what I think is done. The counterbalance is, you know, I got it. It's got to get out there. That's part of the point. And so those two things fight each other: my creativity and wanting it to be perfect, like most artists do, and my desire to get it out there. They conflict and fight until the equilibrium or the balance or something happens, and then it's just time to go. And maybe later I'll feel like, gosh, I wish I'd done this, that, or the other, or I see there's an error in it, but I don't care, because I know that whenever I let it go, I don't know, when the cosmos or something said, you got to let this go. So I don't have a better answer than that, unfortunately, but I have experienced this many times. And I can't discern a pattern in it. It's just what happens.
Yeah. No, I definitely get a similar thing. And yeah, in particular, writing my book, I'm like, how many edits is enough?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I really like a friend of mine years ago turned me on to, I mean, it was a phrase I knew. I don't know the origin of it, but the phrase making perfect the enemy of good.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And just this idea that when something is good, you're like, it's not done yet because it's not perfect. Well, it's never
Mm-hmm.
gonna be perfect.
Correct.
Despite what the chicken people say. And that is tricky. And when it's supposed to go out there, I guess you a little bit have to sort of rely on other people. Like I got to the point where my editors were coming back with like, I mean, there's a couple little things here, but mostly it seems good. And
Right,
I
right.
was like, this feels like a real book. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, also just the get it out of my head kind of thing. I want to move on.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing this for funsies, which I'm guessing Azure Talent is doing, unless there is a competitive miniatures painting arena that I need to see a documentary on. Which if there is, I'm watching the shit out of that.
Yeah.
Because I have another friend, the guy who is DM for one of my or GM for one of my gaming groups. He does miniatures and stuff like that as well, just for funsies. The good news with that one is you're done when you want to be done.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And
Right.
not only does that mean when it stops being fun, stop doing it, but
Mm-hmm.
also you can absolutely make perfection the enemy of good. Like you can, I spent 4 years on this figure because I wanted to, and now it's perfect. Now you do run into the thing of when it's visual art, or at least like in a very analog physical sense, sometimes adding things you cannot take them away again. I run into this when I go to the places where you like paint your own thing. I got an idea and I'm sort of painting it, and then I just do too much, and then I'm like, well, crap, I can't undo this. So when I try and do those things nowadays, I try and get very minimal because you can always add, but you can't subtract. So I'm like, here's my idea. Here's the most basic version of my idea. Now let's look at it and see if we want to add stuff. But yeah, ultimately do it as long as it's fun and then stop. Yeah, I feel like there should be more to that, but there's not. If it's something you're releasing to the world, there's a certain level of marketability. You're like, is this at a point equivalent to other things within this genre, category, art form, etc. And again, oh dear. Oh dear.
As you're talking, I don't know what people watching see, but I see Anthony's talking. Oh,
Yeah.
good.
Okay. I
I'm
just see a
glad
big A.
glad they told me that
Oh,
because otherwise I wouldn't know it was you.
luckily, just stopped the video. It didn't like do anything weird, but whatever. All right. Um, there's enough about that. Before we get to our side quest, I want to mention one thing that I learned yesterday that is very cool. Um, Up front, I'm going to say I'm not doing any spoilers. So anybody who's worried about spoilers when they hear this topic, don't worry. You remember the French RPG I was talking about, Clair Obscur Expedition 33?
Mm-hmm.
That is now my favorite game. I love it to death. I'm still really kind of obsessed with it. I get a lot of YouTube videos on it and stuff like that. What I recently learned is it is not an adaptation, but probably the primary influence for the creator of the game is a 2004 French sci-fi novel that has in fact been adapted into a comic book that seems really cool and has similar themes and devices and things like the video game. The bad news is I can't read it. And there's a couple of reasons. For one thing, there is no official English translation, although there are some fan translations that, but it has been translated into other languages, and by people who understand both sets of languages, it has been said it doesn't work. Partially because French has a lot of sort of built-in wordplay to it that just doesn't translate well, but also this story is about language and has a lot of like neologisms put in it and evolutions of language throughout it in ways that that word doesn't mean that thing. Like you can't literally translate it because the evolution doesn't work the same. If you had a word that was like this, like, because they come from other places. The French word for this comes from a different place than the English word and things like that. And so it comes out different. And so I'm a little bit bummed about that because it seems very cool. But I just thought it was a really neat idea, and I like to learn more about the history of these things. And it sounds like the book is really cool in terms of how its language works, and like the characters speak certain ways, but as things progress within the story, they speak differently. It seems pretty neat. I'm sorry I'll miss out on it, but Expedition 33 is still an awesome game. Highly recommend. Now, let's side quest. Not front quest. Not back quest. Not up quest. Not down quest. Not Johnny quest. Not Jimmy quest. Not Oculus Quest 2. Is that a thing? Side quest. Pick a number between 12 and 12.
Well, not main quest. You didn't say not main quest. I mean, that's usually the contrast to side quest, main quest.
I've never heard that term before.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. Never mind then.
I have 304 registry issues on my PC.
Well, okay.
I understand shareware and free versions and trials of things. And I understand that sometimes you set them up so you're like, you can have it for 30 days and then you got to pay us some money. Or sometimes you're like, it's good, pay us. You have to. Like, that's how most things work. And sometimes they're like, it's free. We just want it out there in the world. Great. All of this, fine, wonderful, whatever. But then there's also an exceedingly common version where here's the free version, but you get more stuff and it shows you really love us if you pay for it. And ideally, we just want you to use it for a little. We won't stop you. You can use it for free forever. But we'd like you to pay. And that gets a little annoying at times where I'm just like, yeah, I get it. I've opted not to pay. If you want to turn it off, I understand. But if you didn't, shut the hell up. But the one I really hate that happens with a lot of these antivirus and anti-malware things is they constantly are trying to scare you. The fear mongering really annoys me. Yeah. And to trick you when you finish the scan, when my antivirus finishes the scan, there are 3 sections. 2 are normal sections you would expect, and then there's advanced issues, and it's all just, broken registry items and da 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 da. And that's the thing. If you want to do that, you got to pay for it. And so there's a button that says you want to resolve this, which means you're going to pay for it, or do you want to skip it? And if you hit skip, they're like, are you sure? This is going to fuck you up. This is bad. And then they switch the buttons where they're positioned. So if you weren't paying good attention, you click on the one. And then as soon as that is done, I close that out. And it's like, oh, by the way, your PC's slower. You're not imagining it. And I'm like, I just... stop. And then it's like, you want to see the results of your scan? I'm like, I just watched them. Like, well, come see the results of your scan anyway. Oh, you got these advanced things. You want to fix? No, I don't. Are you sure? And constantly changing where the button is and everything. What I really love is occasionally my antivirus says, we found a tracking cookie on your computer. And I'm like, yeah, I have an anti-tracking cookie software that I run that usually finds hundreds of them and cleans them up. I am not scared of one tracking cookie. But like, yeah, it just seems very disingenuous. I'm like, charge it, don't charge it, make it a trial or whatever, but stop trying to scare me into paying money. Honestly, there's a lot of security services that are like that in general, and I'm like, I don't scare me into paying money. It's awful. Stop it. Oh, I think we've had this one before, but this is pretty cool. Take a virtual tour of the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. Apparently, you can do that online.
Yeah.
I do love that this doesn't have like an in fiction thing. It's not like, oh, catch up on your briefings. It's just like, because the other ones were like, seal up the cryopod, make your bed, or whatever the fuck. But this one's like, no, just even in the sci-fi world, it's just a virtual tour of the Smithsonian National Air and Space Musician. National Air and Space Musician. I want that role. It's like poet laureate.
Yeah.
But different.
I like it. I like it.
And then we have a Neil Armstrong quote that's not the one you're thinking of, or the real version of the one you're thinking of. Neither of those. Yeah, we've definitely heard this one before. Mystery creates wonder, and wonder is the basis of man's desire to understand. Yeah, this is a little bit like a cheeseburger isn't a cheeseburger without a slice of melty goodness. Like, the fact that we don't know things makes us wonder what those things are, and wanting to know things we don't know is the basis for how we understand. Great.
Yeah.
Like yeah. The basis for learning things is wanting to know stuff we don't know.
Thank God for ignorance.
And that's only possible by the fact that there are things we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Neil, you're a hell of an astronaut. Not necessarily the most quotable public figure. More and more nowadays, when people are doing and saying things, I'm like, what are they actually an expert in? And therefore, should I be listening to them about other stuff? I mean, you could argue that being the first man on the moon gives you a certain philosophical perspective. And now I want to know, like, is this just off the cuff? Like, if he just was like, there was a camera and they're like, hey, what do you do about it? Like, that's pretty cool. If he wrote that shit down and crafted it, which never occurred to me before. If those craft commercials are improv, then that first one's not bad. Second one's not great because it's just copying the first one, which is not how improv should work.
Right.
But all right. That should be it. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay.
I got stuff to do. Mostly I gotta go potty. So keep listening, people. And if you want to follow us, nothing will happen, but you can follow us on Facebook. Nothing will happen there. Or you can follow us on Blue Sky. I believe it's just called Magical Talking Hat. I believe I couldn't get enough characters in my username. We're not on Twitter anymore. Stop it. By which I mean Twitter. Stop Twitter. 4 people are following us on Blue Sky, but when I go to look at followers, it only says Craig. So 3 are like secret followers. I don't know. It's very weird. Anyway, mostly though, go to the blog, themagicaltalkinghat.com, and tell me if I should be ashamed for judging chicken people, or if William needs to suck it up and admit that they're crazy. Also, please email us, themagicaltalkinghat@gmail.com, because when I was home for Labor Day weekend, my father-in-law said there was something that came up, and he was like, "Isn't that from James Bond? Isn't that this thing?" Da, 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 da. And I was like, "No, that I don't know if it's from James Bond, but the thing you're thinking of is this." And he's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm quite sure." And then I looked up the other thing for him, and it was from James Bond, but it was more obscure. But then he says to me, I shouldn't have doubted the family's movie expert. And I was taken aback for a second. But then I thought about it. And I thought about the movies I watch and how my brain holds on to a lot of detail about who the actors were and what they were in and what order of stuff. And that also I watch a fair bit of YouTube about movies that are like coming out and how I might be a movie expert. Like, I didn't think so. I don't think of that as like one of my, I like movies, but like there are people who are like into movies, and I'm like, I don't think like I'm, but maybe I am, which is weird. It's kind of cool, I guess, but it's weird. If you're an expert on something, email us about it. themagicaltalkinghead@gmail.com. And see, this is the system. You email us about something you're an expert on. We speak on it with no expertise and do a terrible job. And then you go to the blog, themagicaltalkinghead.com, and tell us how badly we did.
Yep.
And that's the content mill there, people. That's what keeps the show going, right?
Yep.
Do
it's
that.
like an engine. It's like an engine.
Yes. And listen again next week to hear what else we will talk about that we don't know about, which is most stuff.